Cool. So we are now recording. Let me share my screen and we will get started. All right. This side. And let's open up a CodePen. You can code along if you want, or you can just kind of watch and answer questions and help me code. I'm going to duplicate this because I have a project. I'm going to be going off a template I made last night. So like, I don't know, I could create my own sole server, and I'm like, no, that's too much. I'm like, no, not tonight. We'll do that another night. We'll just go to pen, and there we go. Perfect. Click on settings. We'll turn off the behavior of enabled and autosave. That way we're not constantly running the program. Cool. Let's just get some basic HTML set up. I have a couple divs here. We'll have a div. We'll call this the class of header. One more div. And we'll call this class of cards. You know, I like cards, so we're gonna do that again, but differently, right? Cool. So we'll just do some basic CSS here. We'll say car container or header. Display flex by or width percent by content. Spell. I will say space around, and we'll do a card class, and we'll just say display flex extraction column. Say width 30%. Yeah, because we did, that's fine. Yeah, that'll work. And then for this card, we'll say this is card container, right? Card container. We'll just say container display flex width percent, and we'll just do justify content. Do space around. It should be fine. Cool. So we had our basic HTML setup, and should be cool. So let's talk about what we want to do in JavaScript. We want to make some fake Axios calls, and we want to take the data that we get back, and we want to make it into a card, and also some tabs for the headers, and we want to append it to the DOM. So let's see what that might look like. I think for let's see, header. Yeah, we can just do this for, I guess, we'll comment some code. We'll say for the tabs, we'll just do create a block. How do you create a block? Is it possible? Let's see. I don't know how to block out code in CodePen. We'll just do a div, and we'll say inside will be we'll do paragraph. We'll say that's our basic setup for our tabs. And then for our cards, yeah, we can do an image. Why not? We can do a div. And there we can have a. Let's do a make paragraph. We'll do make of car. And then right next to there, underneath, we'll do another one. We'll say that's going to be paragraph with the year. And then we'll do, obviously formatting is not going to be the greatest, but not the point of this project. We'll do the image right underneath that. And I better go up here to the card container. See image with 100 pixels, height. Oh, crazy. Image. And then I think underneath that we have the miles, right? We'll do paragraphs or just the miles. Actually, I feel like paragraph, yeah, that's fine. We could do H2, but you guys know how to do that, so we'll keep it simple. Cool. Any questions about our structure that we want to set up? Cool. Let's so we're gonna make some calls. So we're gonna say we're gonna axios.get, right? And fake API slash tabs. So we would do that, and then inside our dot then, right? We would. So stuff we're gonna be doing is gonna be the stuff that would be inside the dot then. So we can pretend, right? Any questions so far? Cool. So the data we get here is going to be const res. Is just going to be the object. Const data. And then we'll say, think about this for a minute. How do I want to do this? Oh, sorry, that res.data. We're just making a fake one, right? So res.data. You don't have to worry about this part. It's just kind of, I'll say res.data.cars, right? So this is what we get back from this endpoint. Equal. And it's going to return this object here. All right, there we go. And there you go. So this is the response we get when we'll take a look at it. We can pretend this is the response. So it looks like we get an object, and then we get Chevy, Ford, and Dodge inside each key. The values are an array of objects. And we get the year, make, miles. So only thing we need to add is just image. So let me go find an image. That's okay. We'll just set the image automatically. We'll just set like a static image. Cool. So that's the data you get back. Actually, I will. Let's see. Truck image. I want to find a small image that way it doesn't like. Let's see, view source. Copy image address. Cool. Ooh, I am not doing that. So yeah, we'll hold off on the image for now. We'll figure it out down below. Cool. What questions do you guys have? You guys good? All right, let me see if I can. There we go. Now I can see you guys. I can see you guys from before. So we need a couple functions, right? So let's set them up. So let's do function card creator, right? For the cars. You guys want to do the tabs first, or do you guys want to do the cards first? We can do tabs first if you want, so we can see the difference. Tab creator. But we also need one more res.data.tabs. And this is just going to return a array with Chevy, Dodge, and Ford. So pretty simple. All right, so tab creator. What is this can take in as a parameter?
It's an array.
Well, let's think about this way. So the tab creator function should really only create one tab, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the array, we have to imagine that we're going to take one of these items out of here and pass it into this function. So really, it's just going to take a tab, right? Like that.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. So we can just set our properties here, and if we just copy this from here, we can see it's just a div and a paragraph. So let's go do that now. We'll say const div equals document create element div, right? Standard. And then looks like nested is the paragraph. So we can say const, and it's the tab, right? So we can call it a tab. Create element, but it's gonna be a p tag, right? Cool. So what do I need to append? Well, actually, let's go and do our adding text to the tab, right? So how do I do that?
Classes for the tab first, the div, I mean.
Yeah, we can like
Or do
tab.
you want to do just the text content?
Yeah, we'll do the text content for now.
Okay.
So tab dot text content equals, and since we know, here's a question. Now, what is this equal to?
Whatever the text is going to be. Right?
Yep, whatever the text content, but what do I plug in this function? What do I want to set this equal to?
The paragraph? Or is it the div?
Well, the paragraph's already here, so we already have that, and we're referencing that here. But this is what do I want the text to say?
Tab?
Yeah, just tab, right?
Okay.
And that's coming
we're
from
overthinking it.
Yeah.
and that's coming from here, right? When we pass it in.
Yeah.
So it's just tab because that's all it is. It's a string. So there's no tab.tab. There's no tab.text. It's just tab.
Really? Dang. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we're overthinking that one.
Yeah.
More than I was.
And so after that, we have that. So there's no classes here. So we can say, what do I want to do now? You might appends.
Yeah, so now you're going to append the tab to the div.
Yep.
Because that's how you named it, obviously.
Div dot append child.
And then
Right.
new tab.
And then what do I want to return at the end?
The div or tab?
Oh, the div.
Okay, yeah, because the way you named it is div, so it would be div.
Yeah, you can call it whatever. Sometimes you can call it like main div, but honestly, just for simplicity, I just call it div because I know it's going to be the div that contains this tab. So it's fine. I mean, really, truthfully, do I even need the div? Honestly, not. But so, would you guys rather see it without the div? So it'd just be like this. You just get rid of this, get rid of this, and there's nothing really to append. So turn tab. That's it. Because I mean, truth be told, it's going to be a div already that we're going to pin it to. So let's grab reference to that. So where do I want to append this to at the end of it, right? So let's grab our references to the HTML. And just make a comment for yourself that we know what they are. So we can say const tabs, or const header, right? equals document dot query selector. What do I put here?
The header
Header,
tag,
yeah.
or the dot header.
Dot header.
Exactly. And then we can just console log this up, make sure we get the right thing. All right, let's go. So we'll save it. Then we'll run it. And we can see here in a moment once it runs. So maybe it's not going to show up in the console. I probably have to go and inspect it and find it that way. What is all these errors? JS1 unexpected line 13. Let's go take a look. It doesn't like this. I think so. It is. Let's check it out. Okay, tabs already been declared. So where'd I?
I think you put it in the functions
Const
parameter.
tab and tab text.
Ooh, I did, didn't I? Okay, cool. Hang on, let me go up and find it, dude.
You made it a const, and then it looks like it's also a parameter for the function.
Okay, let me just put the space here. Yep, you're right. So that's why I think I said change it OBJ, because that way you have less of a chance of ever redeclaring it, right? Or you can say string, whatever it is. But in this case, it's just a string, right? So we can just say string. Because we know that our data is just a string. And now we should be cool. Let's check it out. Cool. Yeah, there we go. There's a reference, so we know we are good to go. Let me clear out this. This in the console clears it out. Awesome. So I think now let's go ahead and just get these tabs shown in the DOM, and then we can move on to the next part. So in order to do that, let's talk about how we're going to do that. So this res.data.tabs. So we're going to pretend we made Axios call, right? So let's do that here. Actually, I'm going to separate these into like different files so no one gets confused here. I'll say this is tabs portion, right? And then down here would be card component, the card section component, or whatever. It doesn't confuse anyone. Cool. So res.data tabs, we can pretend we made our Axios. I get. We call it some fakeapi.com/tabs, right? Something like that. And this is what we got. So obviously we'd have a dot then, right? And we did like res, and we like const logged res. This is what we'd see. So since we don't have that, let's pretend that we do. So res.data.tabs. And what do I want to do inside our dot then? So this right now is all inside our dot then.
Then you want to create a method that's going to go over everything?
Yeah, I think the best thing to do, just make reference to that data in the res, right? So just say const tabs equals, actually I can't, yeah I can, because this is inside the function, so I can still make a tab out here.
Okay, because this is in the dot then statement, right?
Yep, this would be in the dot then, so it should be okay. And just say res.data.tabs, right? So this is all in the dot then. In the dot then. So let's just console log tab, just see what we have. Or tabs. Actually, yeah, it should be tabs. because it's the whole item at this point. I think we can see it there. Chevy, Dodge, Ford. All right, let's get rid. I'm not going to get rid of this console log. I'm just going to comment it out. That way we don't get confused on what we're trying to console log at the time. Cool. Chevy, Dodge, Ford. Just what we expect. Perfect. And then what do I want to do with these tabs?
Oh, they need to be put on the HTML somehow. Like, you gotta create a method of some kind to.
Yeah, so
It's after appending it. Like, it's got to be appended to the document itself. But
so we know this is an array, so we have to
yeah.
iterate over the array, right? Because we want to get each item appended to the array, so iteration is probably the best way to handle this. I mean, because we could do something like, you know, get each item out, but we're not going to do that. We're gonna use it for each. Tabs at for each, right? Then what is it? It's just a tab, right? And all this is still, you know, well within the same .then call. And what do I want to do? Well, I think the first thing, so I know when this runs, the first time this runs, what is tab going to be equal to?
You haven't declared it yet?
Well, it will be.
It's
Because
gonna be
it's
the object, right?
Yep,
The
which
one-
object will be?
The one on the tab creator? Or the string.
It'll just be Chevy, right?
Yeah.
Tab will be assigned to Chevy the first time. So let's just say tab, right, equals, let's do, oh, I can't do that actually. Const new tab, or what's a good way of saying this? I will say appended tab to be appended.
Or
Really
car
long.
tab for short. Either way.
Yeah, we'll just say new tab equals. And then now what do I want to do with this tab in our for each?
Append it first and then?
Do I want to
Or
append
is
it quite
that
yet?
next?
Because
That's
You gotta
probably last.
You gotta
right?
declare it, right? So it's go through tab creator.
yeah, we need to run through tab creator, right? Tab creator, and then
Tab.
tab. Yeah, just tab. So let's do this. Let's console log new tab. Let's just see what we get. I will say this is the new tab. We'll save it and we'll run it. Let's see. Cool.
Okay, so we're going to be running. Obviously, you're going to be running the function first when you do the for each, and then you want to append it after.
Yeah, because if I just appended it right now,
It wouldn't do anything.
yeah, it's not a paragraph. But here you can see it is indeed a paragraph with our element. So that's exactly what we want. So now that we have that, let's go and we can just comment it out or delete it, whatever we want to do. But how do I get this new tab appended to the DOM?
You have to have it. Wouldn't you want to append it with the query selector? So it'd be like header dot tab creator or append child tab creator.
Well, is a tab creator?
It's not
No, it would be new
header.
tab.
Header.
Or, oh, it would be header. No, header's the one we're appending it to.
Yeah, we're appending
Is
the
it?
header.
Oh, wait.
So this is what we want to append right here in the console.
Yes.
So what is that reference to?
New tab.
Yeah, right. So guys, it's just new tab, right?
Oh.
So let's talk about why is a new tab? Because a new tab, or this maybe it's better saying created tab. You know what I mean?
Because
So maybe,
it's using the function, so because you made the word created tab,
yeah,
it did half the grunt work for you instead of having to put tab creator dot or
yeah,
tab creator
exactly.
tab append child blah blah blah.
So at this point, when we run it here, it's just equal to Chevy, right? When it's just tab. But then when it's created tab and we pass it as function, at the end of that, we said this was now equal to a paragraph with Dodge. So it's now the tab, right?
Yeah.
So that's the create tab, and that's what we want to append to the header, which we made reference right here. And we just say header.append child create tab. Does that make sense?
Yes. I think what it confuses me when we have to create something like that sometimes is, even though I know what each word means for what we need to have it, maybe the names I'm putting in are too similar to each other. Because sometimes I'll write it and then I'll see it and I'm like, wait, what is that? Is that for that? Or is that for something else? So maybe I just need to get a little bit more
Let's
creative
see,
with my
are
names.
we getting error somewhere? Okay, so important thing here, make sure you put all your access points up top, right? Oops, I didn't want to do that. There we go. Cool. So now when we save it, we run it. Cool. We get Chevy for Dodge. Not pretty, but it works, right?
I have two questions. If you don't
Yeah.
mind.
What questions you got about this, about the tabs?
First one, line 56.
Okay.
54. Sorry, I'm sorry. 58. Why did we use a string?
Well, good, because in our function, right, we know that or this could just be element. You know, it doesn't have to be string. It can be element, element, do whatever you want to call it. We just know. So let's pretend we are the data, right? So me and you, we are the data. So I'm going to draw some lines here, just so we can illustrate it. All right. So we start here. So we are a tab.
You're not drawing, Mike.
Well, I haven't I've drawn it yet. So it moved on me. Where's my annotations? Clear eraser. There we go. There we go. Let me find a color. Let's do orange. So we are a tab right now. At this tab, we are just equal to Chevy, right? Because we ran this, we're Chevy. So we go to line 45, and we're like, okay, well, I guess I gotta go to this tab creator function. So here we are. So we're gonna go from here. We're gonna go right down to here. So at this point, we get renamed, right? We are now just element. We get renamed to element. So then we say line 55, nothing for me to do yet. Line 58 runs, tab.text content runs, and that's us. So we're the element. So we say, oh, we need to be assigned to the tab text content. And then when we return the tab, we go back up here. Because this is done.
Why did we use element?
You can call it whatever you want, right?
I mean, why did we connect 58 with 54?
Why do we connect what?
Line 58 with line 54. We use the same name.
Yeah, that's why we didn't do that, because remember, if we put tab here and then we try to redeclare it, it's going to get an error because it's already declared here, so you can't redeclare here. So we just named element just to be generic, right? So all we did is we took the tab and we say, okay, we're going to change our name from tab when we go to this function to just element. That's all it is. And then we just set that equal to the element, and then at the end of this, we are just the tab because we're inside the text content, right? So we go back up here, and create tab is now equal to this paragraph, and we are basically inside there as a text content as Chevy. And this is header append child, create tab. So takes us from here, right? It's okay, time to go in the DOM. There we are. And that's where we ultimately end up. Does that make sense? Kind of a different way of thinking about functions, but sometimes if you kind of put yourself in that mindset, you can kind of follow it a little bit easier.
Do we have to use tab dot text content? I mean,
Yeah.
what
Yeah, you have to use text content, because what happens if I don't use that? Like, let's say, let me just clear all this. So if I just say, if I get rid of this line, like let's say I never do this, is anything going to show up on the screen? It's just going to be an empty paragraph. Text content is how you actually get the data inside there.
What if we replaced element with anything else? Let's say string. No, not 54, 50.
I mean, you say banana.
Yeah, you can't do that, Ramon.
I mean,
What do you want to put?
54 still element, 58 banana.
Mike, I think what he's asking is why can't they be two different things, is what he's asking.
Oh, because you got to think about what are we passing into the function, right? So yeah, so let's think about that. So when we call this function, we're passing in the tab, right? So this here, it's just a function call. We're passing this tab as an argument. So you can think of this tab just being equal to Chevy. So think of it like this. Think of it, we're kind of like this, Chevy, right? That's all it is. This tab. So we come down here, we have to give this a name, right? It takes in a parameter. You know, so you can call this is anything you want to call it. So right now it's equal to Chevy, right? So you just have to rename it because you know that's what it is. So you can just call it element. And then the text content is going to be equal to element because this is the function that's creating the tab. Hopefully that makes sense.
Yep, thank you.
You're welcome. Anyone else have any more questions on this one or ready to move on to the next part? Cool. We'll move on. Hopefully this is pretty straightforward. It's just the questions we had to really ask ourselves is what is res.data.tabs, what is it equal to? And we knew that was an array. So, you know, then we know how to run this and run it through the function. And then once you get to do that, append that to your reference. Cool. Let me start a brand new Zoom because this is going to cut me off. So let me drop a link in 2 seconds and web part-time 12 after hours. I'll be right back.